Okay. Hello, everybody. Today on Future of Powerlifting Podcast, we got on Jayden Edwards, Juice, the 120 kilo junior national champion for Powerlifting America, going to be representing the U.S. in Junior Worlds in Malta coming up in the end of the summer. And we're just going to talk about his everything leading up to nationals and then what's going forward. So, Jayden, you want to introduce yourself?
So my name is Jayden Edwards. Most of my friends know me by Juice. That's my Instagram handle. I'm from Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, to be specific. It's pretty much.
Okay. So I guess let's start with some background. So I usually ask this question to start. How did you get into powerlifting? Start with that.
So I started as a football player, and then I was working out, and then I was liking the working out part more than the football part at a time. And then I started working out at the YMCA out here with my friend Patrick. We were watching like Russ Swole videos and Eddie Hall videos, so we didn't really know what we wanted to do. And then we switched to a powerlifting gym, and my buddy Nikolai mostly introduced me to powerlifting. He introduced me to my coach, all that stuff.
Austin Nikolai, you said?
What was that?
Austin Nikolai?
No, Nikolai.
Okay.
He's from Ohio as well. Yeah, and then he introduced me to my coach, Cashmere Hughes.
So you started. This is a very common story. So you started playing with football. So you played. You were playing football in high school.
Yeah.
What position were you? I'm gonna guess like a linebacker based off size, but
no, I played defensive line.
Oh, you were on the line.
Yeah,
I guess in high school, the linemen are a little smaller.
I was 300 pounds back then.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I started as a big boy. Yeah.
Wow. So you're on the line, and then did you want to play football in college?
Yeah. So I ended up playing prep school football in Texas after I graduated, and then I moved back up to Ohio and I played JUCO football for a little bit at Hocking College around here, and then I just fell in love with lifting.
So I mean, I assume you were always lifting, right? In high school football, usually there's practices with lifting, that's a very normal thing.
Yeah.
So you were probably, and were you always strong?
Not in high school. So at my high school, we didn't really lift as much as we should have been. So we did some lifts. I was only benching 275 back then. We didn't really do regular deadlifts. We did a bunch of trap bar deadlifts. And then squats was mostly box squats and stuff. So I mean, I pretty much had a strong base when I started, but I wasn't that strong.
Okay, so you really started lifting after high school. That's when you started taking it seriously, college time.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started then, and then you fell in love with lifting more than the actual football or just whatever. So lifting became okay. So I was looking up your powerlifting history, and I wasn't even sure. I saw meets in Texas high school powerlifting. Is that
no,
a
that's
different?
No, that's not me.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was there's a 6-year gap. I'm who knows? But also, you said you're from Ohio, so okay, I figured not. So your first meet was
a bunch of people contact me about that. They were asking if that was me. I was no, I haven't been powerlifting that long.
So your first meet was less than 2 years ago then?
Yes.
That's pretty crazy. Okay. So, I mean, you started off, you were 110, and I actually remember you hit I think it was a 350 deadlift a couple of months back, and I was talking, and you said you were going to do Powerlifting America as a 105, but then obviously, so what made your decision? I mean, it seems like a very good one to move up from 105, 110 to 120.
So the whole goal was to win nationals, no matter what weight class I was at. So, I just wanted to do that at the strongest I possibly can be. So when I was 230, 234, down in that range, it was nice because I looked good, but I didn't feel as good as I feel as a 120, even though I didn't even fill out the weight class. Like I weighed in at like 255. So it's gonna be crazy when I actually get up to 260, 260, maybe 263, 264 maybe.
So your goal is to completely fill out the weight class.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so I mean, seems like a pretty reasonable thing if you're competing in the 120. So I'm just gonna assume, since you're like newer into powerlifting, like been competing for less than 2 years. Well, first off, how long were you like training powerlifting before you did your first meet?
Before my first meet, I was training for like 6 months, 6 or 7 months. Yeah.
So it's been about 2 years, like in total. And then also you said you were like 300 pounds. So what, like after that, did you just like lose a lot of weight? Did you cut, like obviously you were bigger for football. So when you finished football, you just cut down?
Yeah. So, I did my first competition it was a USPA meet. I was a 275. And then I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror. So, I wanted to cut down in weight and then my leverages got better. Then my lifts got better. I felt better. My joints felt better. All that stuff.
Okay, but obviously now you're going back. Obviously you put on muscle and strength since then. It's a totally different situation now. So so when you said like your goal was to win nationals, like there are a lot of people who like get into powerlifting, and for some people it's realistic, for most people it's not. But it's like their goal is to like be a world champion. Is that like something that like when you got like as soon as you got into powerlifting, you're like my goal is to like make it to worlds and win worlds?
No, yeah. So the whole goal was just to do that first meet. I eventually was gonna switch over, like no matter what. Like as soon as I seen like the competition and I seen a couple worlds meets, I was just like, that's where I need to be.
Right. Okay. That sounds reasonable. Now, so I know on our preview for nationals, I said I think what did I say 20-25% chance, something like that.
Yeah.
So it happens to be right. So your previous best total coming to this meet was 840, right?
Yeah.
Like that wasn't like particularly close to like the other two 120s. But obviously everyone knew you were way ahead of that. Like you posted like a week out or whatever. I don't think it was a couple different posts, but I believe you squatted something like, I think it was like a 335 squat.
Yeah.
And that was like relatively easy. I mean, easy is a weird word. Like it's not like extremely easy, but like something like a second attempt kind of weight. Then you hit a 197.5 bench and I believe a 345 deadlift. So something like that.
Yeah.
So like you 877.5, like that last week. That was like your last week at SCD or 3 separate days or whatever it was. But but those are all like obviously easy lifts. So I remember when we were doing the preview, I was looking at it. I actually said I think the winner is going to be in the low 900s, and then I think I got the other two people. Let's call them again, Steven Singleton and Carrington. They both thought that was a little high. They didn't think people were going to crack 900. But I thought like it's going to take like low 900s because we have like 3 lifters who all like are strong, and like to be honest, like it really all 3 of you were capable of the 900s that day. We'll get into the actual day later. Yeah, so we'll get into the actual day later. But like, so I'm like, obviously, like I don't know exactly what you're gonna do because you put on a lot of strength since your last meet. But like your last meet still was like pretty like not like a long time ago. Obviously, it wasn't an all-out meet, but it was like pretty recently, and like it's like let's see how everything's gonna like transfer over to like competition. You're gonna have to do them the same day. So I was thinking like I think like 890 or whatever, but obviously you surpassed like I don't know if there's anybody that really knew what you were capable of. That's for probably you and your coach. That's probably it.
Yeah.
So also that's one thing that's pretty good that I like to see. I assume you probably post most of your lifts. You're not like hiding anything. So the way you train, it's like you leave it for competition, right? Like you hit like PRs in training, but like none of the PRs were like RP10. Probably none of them were even RP9. Maybe the bench is RP9, but like the other ones. So obviously, so when you come into the meet, and also like after listening to, I don't know if you listened to the podcast before the meet or not, but what were you thinking? Like, were you thinking it would take for you to win? Like, what was your goal for the day?
The goal was 2K total.
2K.
It was
okay.
always the whole prep 2K total, 804 deadlift. That's what I needed, and my coach basically was like, if they can beat a 9-10 total, then that's good. Like, we just wanted to push Weaves because he was in prime time. We just wanted to push him enough for him to go for a third that he couldn't hit, basically. Like he could have hit it, but it didn't pan out that way.
Right. So speaking of prime time, obviously, it was actually something that was like bothering me, like coming to the meet. Like, did the idea that like one of your two main competitors was going to be competing later than you, did that bother you? Like, it seems like kind of an annoying thing, right? Obviously, you have like this could have been like potential for like one of the best. Like, there aren't many junior battles that have like three lifters that are really, really close to each other. And also, we're not talking about three lifters close to each other that are putting up like decent performances. We're talking about three lifters putting up like world level performances, but like it didn't get to like pan out that way exactly because like you had to lift and then like watch.
Yeah, me and Dante watched prime time together actually.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess let's move into the day a little bit, right? Because I was actually so I was curious. We were talking like what's gonna happen, right? We knew obviously that in terms of subtotal, Dante has like one of the biggest subtotals, junior or open for one time. Like there's I don't know how many. There might be like one or two opens with bigger subtotals, but obviously in terms of deadlift, you have a much bigger deadlift. So like we knew that we were like talking about it before that it's like okay, what's the scenario going to be? Dante's going to finish his day. You're going to have one lift left, right? It's going to come down to your third deadlift. Now on your third deadlift, you have two options. Your options are to pull past Dante or to pull a number that you think will also beat Weave, right? And we're like, what would you do? And I was like, I'm not sure. Like, it's a hard decision. Like, obviously, if you pull for like a heavier number and then you miss, then your best case scenario in second versus like having a shot of winning. So obviously, we know what the outcome was. You loaded well more than what you needed. I think you need 10 kilos less just to win, right?
Yeah.
And, So, and that was like a sizable jump, right? That was a 25 kilo jump. So you laid it all out on the line there. I mean, you like taking big jumps, like you could see, like all.
That's how my coach does things. He likes big jumps. Yeah. He told me that my second was gonna like on everything. My second was gonna be heavy, but it was gonna be something I can move easy.
Right. So like you finish your second lift, right? And now you have like a minute. I mean, obviously you still could change your third deadlift, but like you have a minute to really decide. And you decided like, okay, I know, like obviously your coach, right? He has all the numbers in front of him. He knows what number you need to beat Dante, and then he also knows what number you need to hit your goal. So you were like, I assume you were like, coach, I got 365. It's in me. Like, forget about like chipping Dante.
No, so I got my numbers before like the day 2 days before the meet even happened, and 365 was the third no matter what.
Really? So you didn't have like a game plan based off like what's going on between the competition? It was like, this is my game plan. All I need to do is just execute, and then that's it.
Yeah, I knew the strength was there for sure. I just knew that like I had to execute like to the best of my ability, like control the controllables and ball out.
So who was your handler for this meet?
My buddy Patrick was he came down from Ohio with me. Patrick O'Neill, yeah, he handled me for the meet.
Right. No, so I just like like at Worlds it doesn't work that way, right? Like you can give them your numbers, but end of the day you don't get to choose your numbers.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because like they obviously they take into account like what you've done previously and what your goals are, but like end of the day they're gonna load what makes sense for like team points and winning. So it's interesting. Also, obviously at Worlds it'll be different because you're gonna be going direct head to head with all your competition versus like having to do something. Right. There's no prime time session, and obviously if there was, you would be in one. So that definitely makes things a little bit simpler. Right. So you come in, you hit your perfect day. And honestly, like I've rewatched all the attempts like numerous times, and you probably had more on every single lift. For sure squat. Like squat for sure. Deadlift's a little hard to know just because like it gets a little bit sticky. So it's like I don't know how much more, but like squat for sure. And bench also, like a little bit more in bench, a little more in squat, and it's hard to tell on deadlift. But So obviously you came out of the meet, you hit your goal, and you have more in the tank. So like that's the best case scenario. You go 9 for 9, hit the PRs, hit the goals, and like still have room to work with. So you said you and Dante were sitting there by prime time watching Weeze, right?
Yep.
So and I mean he had a good meet, hit a big squat. I think went 2 for 3 on bench, but like only lost 2.5 kilos. And then it comes to deadlifts, and like he like loads exactly what he needs to beat you. And he got like his knees, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Right, and then of course so what were you thinking when you saw Weeze go out for a third time?
I was actually standing in the middle. I have a video my friend took. I was standing in the middle of the room at that moment. It broke the floor and my heart dropped for a second. My heart my heart was beating fast. Man, it was crazy. I wasn't expecting it. I thought he had the strength on the day to hit it. So
yeah, I mean, like I was watching. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's happening. And like you missed. Like happens to be, I ran the numbers since because I was looking for other people, and even if he had hit that and you'd come in second, you would have gotten the world team spot, one of the alternates, because I was looking. You would have had a higher GL score than some of the lifters who ended up getting the secondary spot. So you would have gotten, but either way, there's no way to know that at the time, and obviously the goal is still to win. So yeah, so you did that all. Now you have 3 months now to prep coming into World, and obviously this is going to be your first international meet. Like that was your first national meet, even, right? You didn't even do like USAPL national, so this is going to be like your first like national, now followed quickly by international. What are your goals? Obviously your goals are to win, but besides from winning, like what are your goals for World? What do you think is possible, or what are you shooting for?
Just to win. I haven't even thought about that yet. Like what I want to do. It hasn't even crossed my mind. I've just been like so happy with what happened that weekend. It's just like I'll give it time, and then I'll have numbers soon. I'll have what I feel like I can hit.
Right. So I know you're new to sport. I don't know how much you follow the sport. Like for example, last year at Junior Worlds, there was the best 120 battle like ever. Were you watching it? Like you're new to the sport at that point. Were you like watching Junior Worlds, like especially like near your weight class, like seeing what the other people were doing?
So I've always followed Nanzo, but I did not catch that. I didn't catch that World, but I watched the highlights after.
Okay, so you saw that Etienne versus Jonah, they both shattered the Junior World record.
Yeah.
Right. So I was gonna say it's interesting because I think 926 or 9 something like that, 926 and a half, 925 and a half, one of those is now the Junior World record, and they both put up the 2 best junior performances ever. And now they both aged out. They're both I think you're 22 or 23.
I'm 22.
Okay, but when do you turn 23?
At the end of this year.
Okay, so this is your last year as a junior by IPF standards. Yes. Okay, so they're both a year older than you. So they both aged out this year. But it's pretty crazy because we had like the best battle, and then they're both gone, and it's like, what's going to happen next? Like it happens a lot of times with the class. Like you have great battles, and then it's like people move on, and then it's like, who's going to step up, right? Yeah. And if you had asked a year ago who's going to step up, like a year ago, honestly, I had no idea who you were. You were less than a year into powerlifting. Like you were not a name that's like he's going to be the next. But in 1 year, you've obviously stepped up along with Nanso, he was a sub junior last year still. So this is his first year in the juniors. He got 4 more years in the juniors, and he went from like, I don't know what he totaled last year, but it was something like maybe like 860 or something. And since then, he's already in the 900s and making crazy progress. So honestly, we have a chance this year to see like the same thing, just with 2 different lifters. And there are probably other lifters in the mix. The nominations for Junior Worlds are not out yet. They just started coming out. So like only a few countries have put in their nominations. So you can't see your competitors yet. But at least you and Nanto probably going to have a similar thing where I'm guessing based off like training, both of you at that point will be in that same range, like in the 920s. Like both, again, like as shot of both breaking the world record and both. And what's interesting is this actually makes it more exciting. Both you and Nanto, like obviously Nanto, his deadlift is his best lift. but you guys are both not like specialists. You have like some lifters who are like specialists, right?
Yeah.
Like, but like you guys are very well rounded. Like you have an extremely good squat, an extremely good deadlift, and a very good bench. Like your bench, like there are people with bigger benches, but your bench, like nobody would say a 200 kilo bench is not a good bench. So like you're well rounded, and same thing with him. Like he has a bigger deadlift, but also I think he also benches like 200 and also squats something like 330 or something. So like both of you well rounded, both of you strong lifters, both of you like I mean his first year in the juniors, your first international, he'll definitely be exciting. So you said you haven't come up with goals yet, so you have no idea like what you think it'll take to win that junior world.
I mean, I feel like 920 is there, 920 plus. I feel like that's doable. Yeah, I feel like that would happen.
Yeah. How do you feel about not getting to battle against Dante again? I ran through the numbers because I thought I was mistaken. I thought he was going to get a spot, and it turns out like it came down to the tiebreakers of like GL score, and like if he had like weighed in 1 kilo lighter, like he would have gotten that last world team spot. Like he literally was in a tie. It's like so rough when like he was in a tie with a 74 kilo lifter, and it's like one of you totaled 710, and one of you totaled like 898, but like you lost it by like point whatever 0.1 GL score or whatever. So obviously that's like I mean be kind of annoying, but you still have like a great battle coming up. How was it getting to battle against Dante? Like I assume you guys haven't met before because you're like new on the national stage.
No, we haven't met before. I introduced myself before we even competed. But it was fun. Obviously he told me he didn't even know that like I had a deadlift that big because he's never heard of me. And then he didn't realize until I was going out to pull 804 that was for the win for the morning session.
Right. That's actually kind of funny because so we had him on along with a few others before collegiate nationals. We had like our 125, and what he kept saying is like obviously we know he has the smallest deadlift of the competitors, but like he makes his ground on squat bench. He's like his goal is to have a good enough day where he forces somebody to load 800. He said that multiple times, and at collegiate nationals, nobody was able to do that. Actually, somebody like came close. They pulled to the win, didn't hit. But like here, like we have two, meaning both you and Weez. I forget what Weez pulled on the second, but like he's also something.
It was like 340 on his second. Yeah, 750.
And then what did he load for his third? Like
368, so something like 810, 812.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So here we have both you and Weez are both like, I mean, you're obviously an actual 800. You've pulled the 800 on the platform, and Weez is like in that range also. So it's like it's very hard. It's really hard to win when you're gonna have you literally outpulled Dante by, I believe, 155 pounds.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's crazy to think about. Like you guys are close, and it's like wow, what an advantage having like that crazy deadlift is. Like you come back and it's like doesn't matter what like how much you're behind. It's like you're gonna be able to load what it takes.
No, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, but he has a crazy squat. His squat is insane. Like.
Yeah, I mean his squat. He's I think he's 15 kilos off of the open world record squat, and he's already above the junior world record squat. Hopefully, I mean I haven't confirmed from him, but like hopefully he's going to be doing NAPF and can officially break it there. But yeah, I mean it definitely would be nice to like see the battles again. You're not going to be able to face him in the juniors anymore, but like. It's definitely. I mean, you're for the juniors. You have one last year in the juniors, and you're ready for the opens either way. I mean, once you're already in that like range. So first off, let's talk. So who's your coach? You mentioned him, but he's definitely not one of the. I'm not like I don't know him well. Who is this?
His name's Casimir Hughes. His Instagram's like pvo.cash. He's also a lifter out of Ohio. He trains out of the gym, Barbell Culture in Cleveland.
So he's okay. So he's local to you. Like you met him in like person, or okay.
Yeah,
So he's nice.
I've linked up with him multiple times.
And is he going to be coming with you to Worlds or no?
We haven't talked that far, but I don't think so as of right now.
Okay. I mean, you'll have some good people at Worlds to help you out. But okay, so he's been your coach since you started powerlifting, so like for 2 years. So it's always nice to have like somebody when you start and then like still coach you like through like your not beginner obviously, but like beginner all the way to like your national, international stage.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's definitely dope.
Yeah. So just a question. So when you were playing football, like obviously you were like good enough, you're playing college. Like, were you like ever like did you guys ever like play in like state championships or anything? Like, were you ever like in like high level competition?
We played my junior year. We made it to like second or third rounds of the playoffs, and we played like some powerhouse team, and they were crazy. They had like a private school. They can recruit who they want, all that stuff. Yeah, Alabama commit.
Wow. Yeah, it's hard to compete against. So this is gonna be like this will be your first like real like like highest level. Like you played like playoffs, like you never like it's not like you're like in one of these Texas schools that you were playing like in the state champ like one of these like schools that like sends like 10 players to the NFL, like those schools in Texas. Right. So okay, so now you're gonna be, I mean, I don't know, like obviously you haven't competed internationally, but like have you like traveled internationally?
No, this will be my first time.
Oh wow. So that'll be a fun experience. You gonna make a trip out of it?
Trying to.
That'd be nice. And do you know, like, are you friends with any of the other like people on the team? Like, obviously you've met a lot of them probably at junior nationals. I don't know if you knew any of them prior or you made friends with any of them.
So I didn't know any. Yeah, I didn't know any of them prior. Really, I've like a couple of them texted me after the meet and stuff like that. Like a bunch of people texted me after the meet, good meet and stuff like that. So, I'm looking to make some friends with those guys and world stage with them, and it should be fun.
Oh, I think Mike cut out, but here he is. Mike, you good?
Yeah. Yeah, I cut out. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I missed the last thing.
It's gonna be a good time, like going out there and competing with those guys.
Going to Malta as well would be really, that'll be fun.
No, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I can tell you, Malta is a fun destination. I was there for Open Worlds last year. It's probably the number one place I'd pick for a Worlds meet. Like it's a good venue. It's like in middle, like everything's safe. Close by. Like it's awesome.
Oh, we can't hear you, Jayden. No, it's like, I don't think you're muted. All right, so I guess we could also, like you're going to Worlds, super excited, and you have like a really good chance of winning. I guess we could run it back a little bit and just kind of ask a little more about like your coaching, because I mean, putting on that, like going in, I mean, your training was really good, but to put on, what was it, like 70 kilos? Of course, the February meet wasn't all out. What do you think you were capable of around that time, like in February? Because of course you had your qualifier meet, but you didn't go all out at it.
Yeah. So I only went all out for deadlifts. I actually failed 804 at that meet on deadlift. And then squat, I felt like that day I could have. Yeah, I think I could have squatted 744 that day, 733. And then bench, I felt like at that time 424 was good. I could have went 435, 429, something like that. But deadlifts, I ended up only pulling 744, went up to 804 just because my coach said I can ball out on deadlifts at that qualifier. And I ended up like missing it at lockout or something.
Right. So you had that 804 like stamped in your mind almost, because you had said at age Nats, like you were just gonna go for it no matter what, no matter what Dante had done. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So do you like, is there anything that you attribute your like crazy progress to? Just, I mean, like, yeah, your open powerlifting doesn't tell the full story because like you said, you missed that third deadlift.
Yeah.
And you didn't go all out on squat and bench, but still, I mean, like only competing for less than 2 years, already at a crazy total, like even for the open division. Like, do you think it's the coaching, or do you think it's just that you take care
Yeah.
of all your external variables?
I think it has a lot to do with the coaching. Like Cash has always had like a perfect game plans for me, like throughout all my preps, going into meet day. So I feel like it's like a lot of the coaching.
Right. Also, not to mention going up a weight class definitely might help a little bit.
Oh
You still
yeah,
got room.
definitely.
What, what's your, what does your training look like, just in general? I'm curious.
So I only train 4 days a week. So my day one would be squat and bench. So it'd be like my heavy squat day, um, secondary bench day, and then like I have deadlifts and bench. It depends. Like sometimes I will be at 4 times bench a week, and sometimes I'll be at three times bench a week. So when I'm at 3 times, uh, I'll deadlift on my day two, like either pause deadlifts or sometimes I'll have conventional deadlifts, and then my day three is like my bench and secondary squats, and then day four is heavy deadlift, and like uh, uh, my third bench day.
Okay, that's like a somewhat typical split, like two squats, two deadlifts, three or four bench, and then you do you do your like this accessories each day after those lifts, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 4 day week split's not bad. You don't have to come in an extra 1 or 2
No,
times a
yeah.
week, get everything done. That's nice.
Body
Um,
always feeling good back going to training.
right. And then like with your bulking thing, like how's that working? Like are you tracking nutrition, or you're just like eating a little more and like letting yourself gain weight? Like
I was just kind of eating a little more and letting myself gain weight, but not eating like a lot of like junk food. Like I wasn't trying to eat so I was eating just a bunch of ground beef and rice and eggs.
right. Okay. I mean, listen, it's working. Slowly gaining weight, you're gaining a ton of
Yeah,
strength, and you still have. I mean, a lot of times like 120s will often like sit at like 125. So like you definitely have like plenty of room, plenty of
yeah.
room to still gain into the class.
But yeah, so my goal was to weigh in at 260 at comp. And then I was in Texas. We were walking around just like looking at stuff, and I was like couldn't gain weight, even though I was eating good out there. Texas barbecue was great. But I just couldn't gain weight during the trip.
Right.
So are you
How,
sitting closer to like 260, like normally, like before the comp you were?
Yeah, so the couple days before I went out to Texas, I was like 258, 259.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, that's not bad. Do you know when you're gonna go out to Malta? Like, are you gonna get there early to make sure you're settled, and like what? Do you have any plans for that yet, or you haven't like
Yeah.
decided?
So yeah, I'm gonna try to get out there early. So because I don't know how like my body's gonna feel and stuff like that from flying for like 15 hours. So um yeah, I'm gonna try to get out there early and get adjusted.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and there's food places like right there, like um, literally on the block. There's like a bunch of places around the corner. Like there's like places to get food, just because obviously you're gonna want to make sure you're eating, like, especially since you're
Yeah,
like under the class. Like if you're over the class, it's a little harder because you want to make sure you're getting food in, but you want to make sure you don't like gain too much. But like if
overdo
you're
it.
under
Yeah,
the class, you just want to make sure like you're getting your food in and everything. So that'll be nice. And then you'll have
yeah,
some time to adjust because like it's a long flight, and especially like it affects like bigger people a little bit more just because like all that tax on your joints and stuff.
yeah.
So that should be good. Um, okay. What else? Let's just see. So I guess you said like you're gonna come up with your world's plan like soon. I guess you're gonna like have you started prep? Did you go immediately into prep, or are you taking some time off or
No,
whatever?
so I was taking these 2 weeks off. So I went to the gym a couple days last week. Just did like accessories, back and buys, stuff like that. I went today. I squatted a little bit. Didn't squat that much. So I think I'm gonna get back with my coach next week, like next Sunday.
Okay, so you're gonna have like another week off, and then you're gonna get back like directly into prep, into training.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds good. I guess we'll get to see some of your highlights as you're coming into Junior World. So obviously, we mentioned a little before, like Nonso. So do you follow Nonso's training? Like, have you been watching him?
Yeah, I've been following his training for like the last year or so, I think.
Right. So, I mean, I saw he just like hit some big deadlifts the other day. So it'll be a battle. It'll be interesting because you're used to pulling last, and it would be you're probably not going to be pulling last, let's just say.
So,
but yeah, I mean, you have that squat though. Your squats, I don't know. You were talking about like 804, like for deadlift. That was your goal, 804, 804, 804.
Yeah.
I mean, 804 in squat is coming sooner than you think.
No, yeah, that's the next goal. Just in general, just 804 squat. That's what I want.
Yeah, and we'll see obviously how like prep goes and training goes, but like if you could put up another like prep like you just did, who knows?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So that covers most of it basically. John, you have anything?
No, I guess it's a little difficult since or it's interesting to interview someone who's been in the sport for, like you had said that, oh, you started following nonsense training about a year ago. And I was thinking that's 50% of your time in powerlifting. Like it's just crazy to see I guess with like the sport growing, like seeing people with like I guess really, really good genetics just getting super strong really fast.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's even crazy to me to see like my progress because like I know I squatted 705 at comp November, but it got called for depth. And then I could have squatted 705 in February, but that was just to qualify, and the bar jumped off my back that meet, which was crazy. If you guys haven't seen that video,
I haven't actually.
No, yeah, I literally I was squatting. I came out of the hole like super fast, and right when I got the rack command, the bar like fell off my back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they still gave me the lift.
Interesting.
That's pretty crazy. But yeah, what John's saying is true. It's like it's crazy to see like you see now it's much more common than a few years ago because the sport's just growing. You would just see like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, or in your case like juniors that are just putting up the numbers that are just like above all the junior and teen world records. Like it's so common now. But it's still crazy to see somebody like in a year and a half go from like obviously you started off like at a spot that like many people could be training years for to get to, and that was like your starting point. But like still from going from a year and a half into the sport to being like national champion, going to worlds, like probably will be nominated first. Like we'll see what like everyone else does, but like probably gonna be nominated first. Like that's a pretty crazy thing just in general. Like I mean, a year and a half. Like I guess who are the when you got into it, like which people were you like, oh, I want to like beat him or I want to get as strong as him? Like who are those like I guess like people to like look at or when you came into the sport?
Swole and Sean Mills.
Oh really? So that's so crazy to me. So
I used to watch him. I used to watch him on YouTube all the time.
That's so funny. Like I still think of him as young because like he is young, but like I guess since you're newer to the sport, like by the time you came in, we was already like a pretty big name or whatever. So like that's funny that like not only he was like one of the two people who like you really looked at when you got into the sport, and then you got to like battle him and take the spot from him for Worlds. That's like a pretty cool thing. And then Russ, that's like Russ's classic. Even obviously like your like weight class, well like weight classes above him in terms of weight, but like it's That's still a classic. Any other like bigger lifters like or like I don't know, like were you a Bob fan? Like were any of these people?
Still a Bob fan. Uh, it would be cool to catch up, try to catch up to him. See what if I can like ever go head to head with him on the same platform, him or Devin Williams. But
I
he
mean,
has an insane bench.
yeah, I mean next year you're going to be an open. Like if you go to like
Yeah,
regular open nationals, you'll be battling against Bob, against Devin, against I'm not sure who else going to be there, Mike T, whatever, whichever like all like. I mean, Mike is so funny, Mike T. Like Mike T, but like to you, by the time you got into it, Mike T was already like obviously he was still competing, but like he wasn't like it was the new era of people
yeah,
who and but I guess like I'm sure like Rondell that would I mean
yeah.
he's the
Rondell's
strongest 120 ever by a
Rondell's
lot,
nuts.
so you get a chance to theoretically compete against him in the future. That would
Yeah,
be I mean, so now it's like now you're in this weird spot where like not weird spot, but like you're still new to the sport, but like you've already passed most of the people that like you looked at like coming into the sport,
yeah,
and now it's like you're already like well, you're like right now you're the number one junior this year, and potentially based on depending on what you do in junior worlds, you might be the number one junior like ever, and then I guess then you gotta like now it's like a restart, like you do that, and now it's like all of a sudden now you're jumping into the fish with everybody.
yeah,
So are you? I assume like you're planning on like staying 120, right? Like that's like you're happy with bulking up and you're happy. So like 120 is going to be your weight class.
yeah, for sure. I feel comfortable at this weight class. I feel the strongest I've ever been. So I feel like 120 would be my future.
So like, what are some like? Obviously, it's hard to say these things when you're like new, but like, what are some like long-term goals? Like, what you came into the sport, you right away you envisioned like winning nationals, winning worlds. Like what? Like okay, so you won nationals in the juniors. You have a shot of winning worlds in the juniors in a couple months. Like, what's next?
That's next. Open worlds for sure. I mean, junior worlds would be cool. That would be awesome battle. But open worlds is like the big goal.
Okay, so
I want I
that
want
makes
records in
sense.
the record book.
Okay, so you want the open world record book.
Yep.
I mean, let's see. We'll start with the junior world record book. You
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, 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 for
definitely
sure.
can break that total. I'm not sure about the individual lifts. I'm not sure if any of those. Well, technically, you could break the deadlift might get rebroken, but the deadlift is definitely attainable for now.
Yeah,
We'll see about it. We'll see. Like, but that's one of those records that could get thrown around a couple of times on the day. But I
no,
guess
yeah, for sure.
the most important record for that day's total, because whichever person has their name on the total record at the end of the day, that's the one who won. So
Yeah, well, who takes home the gold?
yeah. So okay. So first take home the gold, and then you start looking forward to the Open. And then also so Powerlifting America, like it's been a couple of years. It's like expanding now. Have you like seen all this like recent stuff they've been putting out? Like there's the SBD rally meet, and there's like all these other like meets that have been
Like
like. Have
this
you been paying
uh
attention?
signature sanctioned meets or whatever they're called. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen those. Yeah, I've been paying attention to those. I've been seeing the like all the invites for SBD Riley and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like, what do you think about like the whole direction it's moving in? Like, is this something that excites you?
Yeah, these are definitely like they're gonna have more exciting meets more often, like which is gonna be a cool thing.
Right. I mean, I know it's like a little tough sometimes because like I don't know exactly what it's like in Ohio, but like I know a lot of states, Powerlifting America doesn't necessarily have meets, or they might have like one meet. Like they don't have like it's not as established in like a lot of states, so it's like hard to find
Mhm.
meets and whatever. But like I guess with these higher like level meets, there still probably won't necessarily be where you live, but like those are the meets that like travel for. Like you're not gonna travel like to go to a local meet, but you'll
No,
travel for like some sort of pro meet or some sort of like one of these kind of meets. That's
yeah,
right. So that's very cool.
Are you gonna
three.
be competing before Open Nationals or just taking off all the way until then?
I think my plans right now are to take off until then, just to try to build the
Just
total.
build.
Yeah, yep,
Okay, that's solid. Solid plan.
Yeah. You know, I mentioned this on different podcasts, and it still just intrigues me. I would love for somehow, not exactly like Sheffield, but for there to be a meet like that for like all the best juniors in the world, where like
Yeah.
not just like you go up against your weight class, but like two or three from like one, or maybe even two, or maybe three from each weight class, and they get to like have some sort of battle where you get to like, because like if you're like it's one thing if you're an open, but if you're a junior, so like you have worlds. So like that's like the main in the US, like there's enough competition where you also have like a pretty big battle in nationals. But like in a lot of other countries, like if you're the number one junior, you probably like have no competition until worlds. So
Yeah.
it's like, and since the like in other countries there's Euros, but like in the US there still is NAPF, but NAPF is not as big as Euros, and I would
Hmm.
love for it to be, but it doesn't look like it ever will. There's just not enough. There aren't enough countries in it that really have like super high level. Like it's really the US number one if people go even, and then like Canada number two, and like after that like these other countries like they have maybe like one or two strong lifters, but it's not like Europe where you have like 10 countries that are all sending like top level lifters. So
Yeah.
having like another option for juniors to like an international meet, maybe with some prize money against like the best of the best, like that would
Yeah.
be,
Kind of like a junior Sheffield.
yeah. So I don't think so. I was actually thinking about it. I was trying to figure out how to do it. And like I don't think FBD is going to do it. I think what they should do is Gymshark should do it.
It,
Gymshark is the biggest lifting company by a lot. Like it's worth like $2 billion, I think. And they've been getting very into powerlifting now. Like they have their singlets. They sponsor like probably like 10 or 12 powerlifters. Um, they have the money and the reach where they could do something like a Sheffield, like and also like for the most part, like obviously they have some older lifters too, but like they really market like getting like the teens, the juniors, like that's really like the Gymshark like model kind of. So like if they could like run a meet where it's like a junior Sheffield kind of thing, where like you bring along the best junior lifters and they get to have like some sort of invitational, I think that would be really cool.
super dope to see that.
Yeah. Do you have like any other things like things that you would love to see like to see in the sport like as it's grown like it's just every year at this point like there's more competitors like the markets are getting bigger like we're gonna be on CBS Sports this year for Open World. I think they were just on it for Bench World. It's not that like to be honest I don't really care about Bench World but whatever. Like other things that you'd like to see happen as sport grows.
Um, it's really happening. Like I feel like more money meets. Would be dope. Like I know it's on YouTube, but like actually being on like TV, that would be dope. I feel like that's like like one of those things that people want when they're a football player is like the main thing. They want to be on ESPN, they want to be on TV. I think a lot of powerlifters, I feel like some of them want to be on TV, and I feel like
Yeah.
that would be dope.
Yeah, that I was like thinking that'd be awesome. Like imagine like especially like Open Worlds is like June, right? June like that's NBA Finals time. Like imagine like in the afternoon, like on like TNT or like whatever NBA Finals on TNT usually and ABC. So like on TNT or ABC in the afternoon before like the NBA Finals, like imagine having like the world primetime session. Like
Yeah,
that would be so
that'd
dope.
be cool. Yeah,
And it's possible. I mean, like obviously the CBS Sports deal is a big thing. It's a little bit annoying because it's not on regular CBS, like the regular channel, like where you have football. It's like on
yeah,
CBS Sports, which I'm to be honest, I don't have it. Like it's on cable and it's not a channel that like I have access to. But like it's still a step in the right direction. Like you still,
yeah, for
um,
sure.
but like if it could be on like regular like TV, like if it's on like Fox or CBS or ABC, like something like that. And it's been like that before. I mean, World's Strongest Man used to be on I forget which one of them, but it was on one of those channels. There's been stuff like that. So if we can one day be on like regular like primetime TV, like that would be
That'd be dope. Yeah, super dope.
yeah yeah. Okay, so that's basic. I guess one last thing is like, what would you like to all? There's a lot of juniors out there, a lot of like teens, a lot of people that are either getting into sport now or they've been there for a little bit, but they're like most of the time, for most people like they don't get to the top right away. They're still like starting. Like, what message would you give them? What would you tell them like in terms of like goals? Like, what would you say? Like, what message would you give to like younger kids like getting into the sport?
Just keep going. Consistent. Don't let like a bad day or a bad week of training or a bad meet just make you stop the sport. Like I feel like there's a lot of kids, and I've seen like kids at my gym like that. They will want to start powerlifting, and then they'll get into it, and then they'll be decently strong, have a bad week of training, and then they'll stop and be like, "Oh, now I want to be a bodybuilder." So I feel like uh, you keep going with it, stay consistent.
Why do you think that is? Like, I have one potential answer, but I'm curious why you think it is.
Um, Ego.
Right.
Kids get into the gym and they see like people lifting a certain amount of weight, and they think that they should be lifting that certain amount of weight, and it like hurts their ego. So they try to, they try to do more than what they can to try to build their ego.
Right. I think, like, especially with social media now, like, it's just the perception. Like, there's like a ton of people out there who are just like average, right? Like, there's thousands and thousands of people like me who are going to train the sport and just be average. But like when you go on social media, you're really seeing like that 1% of the 1%, and it's like not everyone's going to be that person ever. And even for the few who will, like, it's going to take time, it's going to take work, it's going to take training hard and smart. It's not like there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to being great.
No, yeah, for sure. No shortcuts at all. You just gotta.
Okay, so do you want to give like any shout outs or thank you? Do you have any sponsors or coaches or whatever? Like,
I don't have any sponsors yet, so I'm gonna give a shout out to my coach, Cashmere. He's been with me since day one. Great coach. He's always plans, and he always listens when I feel like something should be different, and I just feel like he's overall a great coach for me.
and in terms of coaching, like, oh yeah, keep going.
Shout out to my gym, Ohio Sports and Fitness. Great training facility. All my people there, all my Cleveland people.
So in terms of coaching, like, do you do coaching? Is that something like you're interested in? Is that something you do?
I think that'll be something that I'll do more in the future.
Okay, right. As like obviously you build up some more experience in the sport, but yeah, I guess like he just said he doesn't have sponsors. So all you companies out there, like, we have the 120 junior national champion, soon to be 120 junior world champion. And you guys got catch him before someone else does, because in a year from now you'll be seeing him on all the biggest stages. And yeah, so definitely. And so give your Instagram so people can, if they don't already follow you, they can go follow you and see your content.
So my Instagram is juice with 5 underscores. And then it would just like in the bio, it would just say Jayden Edwards, basically.
Okay, yeah, we'll link it to the YouTube video later so people can see it. And also we'll post it in the story or whatever whenever it comes out. And then yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for coming on. It was
Thanks
great
for having me.
to talk to you. And yeah, good luck in this coming prep and at Worlds, because training's going great and big things are coming.
Thank you for having me on here.
Okay, Future of Powerlifting, we are out.